So we're just breaking camp for the first time. This is where the expedition really gets going for real. So today we're heading down the Tuchodi River until we go to the crossing that we found yesterday. Then we're going to cross and come back up and head up towards the pass that I showed you on the video last night. The lake right now is really still. I'll show you a little clip of that. And yeah, just looking forward to get going. It's going to be a very rigorous day today, so should be a lot of travel time. We'll only make camp around supper and set up our tents, but we're not going to be setting up a permanent place for tonight. I think we have a couple days before we rest for a day or so. So again, here's another shot of the lake, just to give you an idea how beautiful and calm it was. You can also notice that the water levels have dropped significantly from even the first day that we arrived. I just wanted to show you something here. This is a little piece of a flake of chert, which is one of the stones that they used back in the day to make tools out of, stone tools. And you can tell it's chert by the fact that it's been worked. You see on the edges here it's been struck a bunch of times and it's been flaked off. Yeah, you can find these all in this area apparently. This is there's a trail that we were taking today that'll be part of the North American, well, what would have been effectively the freeway system back before the Europeans arrived. It allowed people to travel up and down the Rockies range to trade and exchange goods and whatnot. And this is one of the things that they would have traded. They would have traded a stone like this, and somebody locally would have worked the stone into the tool that they needed, either a hand axe or cutting devices. You know, you get a really sharp point on these things when you flick off. Even this is still pretty sharp in spots. Anyway, because this is the national, or it's a park, we're not allowed to take these off site, so I'm going to leave this here. But I just wanted to show you before we take off. So this is just a small shot of us packing up all of our gear into the panniers and all the soft packs, which will go on top of the horses. And now this is us on the trail, and you can see there's a pack horse in front of me. And I was just getting some shots of the mountains around and the river as it was raging by. And then finally, after a couple of hours, we arrived back at the river again, and this time for the cross. The river was still rushing quite a bit, although the water levels had dropped over the last couple of days. You can see the horses are getting up pretty deep, especially farther on ahead there. The pack horses, of course, will drift further downriver. This was a very long river crossing, again the longest of our journey, and that's because the Tuchodi, when it leaves the lower lake, it spreads out across the whole valley into a big range of streams and rivers. The width, though, helped in that no particular stream was overly deep. So although it took us a long time to get across, fortunately we never got so deep as to have to worry about water getting into the packs or getting up, reaching the saddle. And finally we got to the shore on the other side of the river. This is the last piece of water that we had to cross, and we were able to head upstream a bit and then finally reach the mountain pass. So this is a view from the mountain pass, looking back over the Tuchodi River. You can see it's quite a lot of water and a very wide expanse of a stream for us to cross. It's a really beautiful valley, the Tuchodi. And then when we climbed the pass, we got up to this beautiful mountain meadow. Just checking in, we just did a pretty difficult climb, and we actually had to get off the horses for a bit to actually make it up. But this is our reward. So this is a beautiful mountain meadow behind me, and some neat mountains in the background. The trail that I'm on is actually quite an old trail. It's been around for, well, Wayne guesses about 10,000 years. And if the peoples that populated North America came through the pass that opened during the ice age between the glaciers in Alaska and the northern BC and the rest of Canada off to the east of here, east of here, then this would be the way they would have come down on this very trail that I'm standing on. It's quite interesting. Apparently we'll find lots of potential to find artifacts. It's also used a lot by wildlife too. We spotted bear tracks, wolf tracks, elk, caribou. A bunch of wildlife use this trail to move around the wilderness. So after our break in the meadow, we got back on the horses and headed off. We rounded up to this area where there was an obvious avalanche or some sort of slide that occurred, that you can see all the debris, and then we had to this is common on our trip, was to stop and wait for Wayne up ahead to clear the path for us. Some gorgeous mountains and forests in this area. The mountain range that we had found ourselves entering into was mostly limestone. And limestone makes really interesting rock formations. It crumbles very easily, and so you get lots of loose rocks and vertical cliffs as the limestone is eroded away by the rain and the weather. So after a bit more traveling, we stopped for a snack, and we had a little photo opportunity to take some pictures and video and just admire the limestone cliffs that surrounded us on both sides of this valley. There are also some very pretty wildflowers all throughout the mountains as we traveled around. I really like these patches of purple. This is a shot of Michael taking a picture in my direction as he climbed up to the bottom of the cliff there at our rest stop. Another creature that we would see with some frequency on our trip were the porcupines. Porcupines you'll often find up in the trees, as it provides very good protection for them. They're quite large, actually. I wasn't expecting porcupines to be quite so big as when I moved up to the Fort Nelson area. Finally, we were on our way again, heading along the path, but we wouldn't have much further to go before we made camp for the night. And finally we arrived at our campsite, and Alex went and climbed up the side of the mountain beside us to take a look at a couple of small caves that we found before we bedded down for the night.